David Boreanaz, best known for his long-running roles on television series like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, and Bones, has always been known as a calm and composed personality in interviews. However, viewers were shocked when a recent episode of The Kelly Clarkson Show spiraled into a heated confrontation that nobody expected. What was planned as a lighthearted conversation about his new projects took a sharp turn, resulting in an on-air argument and Boreanaz storming out of the studio. Fans and audience members alike were left stunned as the usually upbeat atmosphere of Clarkson's daytime program turned tense in a matter of moments. The story has since gone viral, with clips circulating on social media, sparking debates about what really happened behind the scenes and whether it was all spontaneous or fueled by a deeper, long-standing issue. The episode began innocently enough. Kelly Clarkson, known for her warm demeanor and ability to put guests at ease, welcomed David with applause from the studio audience. The opening banter focused on light topics: his experience as a father, his recent hobbies, and the humorous exchange about music preferences. Everything seemed smooth until Kelly brought up a comment David had made in a past interview regarding the struggles of balancing fame with personal privacy. Clarkson, being candid herself, pressed him to elaborate on those feelings, suggesting that public figures often owe a level of openness to their fans. This simple nudge triggered the first signs of discomfort from David, who visibly shifted in his chair and paused before responding. David explained that while he respected his fans, there were limits to what he was willing to share, especially concerning his family life. Kelly countered by sharing her own experiences with public scrutiny, noting how she chooses to address certain topics head-on to prevent speculation from spiraling. What was meant as a relatable anecdote instead came across as a subtle challenge, and David, perhaps feeling cornered, responded curtly. The audience chuckled awkwardly, thinking it was playful banter, but the tension between the two began to grow. Clarkson attempted to lighten the mood with humor, but David wasn't laughing. His jaw tightened, and he leaned forward, suggesting that he felt misunderstood. At this point, Clarkson asked about a specific incident in which paparazzi photographed David with his family during a private outing. While her question seemed intended to highlight the invasive nature of fame, David misinterpreted it as a criticism of how he handled the situation. He raised his voice slightly, asking why such personal matters should be discussed on air at all. Kelly, still smiling but visibly taken aback, defended her question as journalistic curiosity mixed with empathy. The back and forth escalated, with David accusing the show of focusing too much on drama instead of celebrating his career. The live audience grew noticeably quiet, sensing the rising friction. The argument soon shifted from personal matters to professional differences. Kelly mentioned the importance of vulnerability in connecting with fans, but David argued that entertainers should be judged on their work rather than their personal lives. His frustration grew as he claimed that shows like Clarkson's perpetuate the very culture of oversharing that celebrities struggle to escape. Clarkson, caught between defending her format and respecting her guest, tried to steer the conversation back to his latest project. However, by then, David's mood had already soured. He crossed his arms and gave short, clipped answers, making it clear he was no longer willing to play along with the casual, light-hearted tone of the show. What truly shocked viewers was the moment David stood up mid-interview after Clarkson made one more attempt to smooth things over by joking about his character's brooding demeanor on Angel. David slammed his hand lightly on the armrest and declared that he wasn't there to be mocked or to have his personal boundaries questioned. Kelly, trying to laugh it off, said she meant no offense, but the damage was done. David unhooked his microphone, muttered something under his breath that was not fully audible, and walked off stage. The audience gasped, and the camera quickly cut to Kelly, who looked stunned but tried to keep the show moving. Backstage reports suggest that producers scrambled to address the situation immediately. Some insiders claimed David had already expressed reluctance to appear on the show, citing concerns about how certain topics might be handled. Others say the blow-up was completely unexpected, as David had been in good spirits during rehearsal and backstage conversations. The fact that it happened live, with no opportunity for editing or damage control, made it all the more explosive. Audience members later posted on social media that the tension was palpable even before David walked off, with one attendee describing it as watching a car crash in slow motion. In the aftermath, clips of the confrontation spread rapidly online. Within hours, hashtags like #Boreanaz storms off and #Kelly Clarkson Show were trending on Twitter and TikTok. Fans were divided. Some supported David's stance on personal boundaries, praising him for standing up against what they saw as invasive questioning. Others criticized his reaction, calling it unprofessional and disrespectful to Kelly, who they felt had handled the situation with grace. The polarized reaction sparked debates about celebrity privacy, media responsibility, and the fine line between authentic conversation and overstepping. The controversy quickly became a hot topic on entertainment news outlets. Kelly Clarkson herself addressed the incident briefly the next day. On her show's opening monologue, she acknowledged that interviews don't always go as planned and emphasized her respect for David and his career. She stopped short of apologizing but expressed regret if any questions made him uncomfortable. Kelly maintained her signature positivity, assuring fans that she values open and honest discussions with all her guests, even when things get a little messy. Her measured response was widely praised, though some critics argued she was downplaying what had been a significant on-air meltdown. David Boreanaz, meanwhile, remained mostly silent in the immediate aftermath. His representatives released a short statement saying that he values his privacy and prefers to keep the focus on his work rather than personal matters. While the statement was calm and professional, it did little to quell speculation about whether he would face reputational damage from the incident. Some fans argued that the blow-up only made him more relatable, showing that even seasoned actors have limits. Others worried that his reaction might overshadow the projects he was supposed to promote during the interview, leaving an unintended stain on his publicity campaign. The incident raises larger questions about the nature of daytime television and celebrity culture. Kelly Clarkson's show, like many talk shows, thrives on creating moments of authenticity that resonate with audiences. But where is the line between authenticity and exploitation? For Kelly, asking about personal experiences seemed like a natural way to connect her audience with her guest. For David, it crossed into territory he wasn't comfortable with. This clash highlights the ongoing tension between celebrities' desire for privacy and media's demand for transparency. Both sides may have valid points, but when those perspectives collide live on air, the fallout is inevitable. Some media analysts have speculated that David's reaction may have been influenced by years of frustration with how his personal life has been handled in the press. Paparazzi intrusion, rumors about relationships, and the constant expectation to share intimate details can take a toll, especially on actors who have been in the spotlight for decades. From this perspective, his blow-up wasn't just about Kelly's questions but rather a breaking point in a long build-up of stress. If that's the case, then his storming off wasn't a personal attack on Kelly but rather an act of self-preservation in a setting that suddenly felt unsafe. For Kelly, the challenge lies in balancing her dual role as both an entertainer and an interviewer. Unlike hard news journalists, she isn't expected to grill her guests with tough questions. Instead, her brand is built on warmth, relatability, and creating a space where celebrities can share stories in a relaxed environment. When that formula fails, as it did in this case, the fallout can be even more dramatic because it defies audience expectations. People tune in for feel-good moments, not confrontations. This may explain why the incident has generated so much buzz. It was shocking precisely because it happened in a place where viewers least expected tension. In the days that followed, other celebrities chimed in on the controversy. Some defended David, saying that interviewers should respect clear boundaries. Others supported Kelly, praising her professionalism and noting that she handled the situation better than most hosts would have. Social media became a battleground of opinions, with fan communities of both Clarkson and Boreanaz clashing in heated debates. Entertainment blogs published think pieces dissecting every word and gesture from the confrontation, analyzing whether David's reaction was justified or excessive. The incident, in effect, became bigger than the interview itself, symbolizing broader issues in celebrity media relations. Behind the scenes, Producers of The Kelly Clarkson Show reportedly held meetings to discuss how to prevent similar incidents in the future. Some suggested giving guests more control over which topics would be covered, while others argued that the unpredictability of live interviews is part of what makes the show engaging. There are even rumors that the team considered not airing the episode at all, but the live broadcast made that impossible. Instead, they lean into the controversy by clipping the least volatile parts of the argument for online platforms while removing certain more intense exchanges from promotional material. David's storm-off also reignited conversations about how much control celebrities should have in media appearances. Some argue that if stars are allowed to dictate the terms too rigidly, interviews risk becoming shallow publicity exercises. Others counter that respecting boundaries doesn't mean avoiding meaningful conversation, it means finding common ground without crossing into personal discomfort. David's case illustrates the difficulty of achieving that balance. He clearly wanted the focus on his work, but the format of a daytime show made it nearly impossible to avoid personal anecdotes and lighthearted banter. This mismatch of expectations may have doomed the interview from the start. What complicates matters further is David's reputation as a seasoned professional. Having worked in Hollywood for decades, he's no stranger to press tours and talk shows. That's why his storm-off feels so unusual. It's not something fans or industry insiders expected from him. If a younger, less experienced star had reacted this way, it might have been easier to dismiss as immaturity. But with David, it suggests that the underlying frustration was genuine and deeply felt. This adds weight to the theory that the incident was more about cumulative stress than a single awkward question. Interestingly, some fans have suggested that the incident might even help David's career in an unexpected way. In an age when authenticity is prized, his refusal to play along with the scripted lightness of daytime TV could make him appear more genuine. People are drawn to celebrities who defy expectations and refuse to be boxed in. The viral nature of the moment means more people are now talking about David than they were before. While negative publicity is risky, it can sometimes spark renewed interest in an actor's work. Whether this applies to David remains to be seen, but it's a possibility worth considering. Kelly Clarkson, for her part, appears to have emerged relatively unscathed. Her reputation as a gracious and resilient host has only been reinforced by how calmly she handled the situation. Even critics who believe she may have overstepped acknowledge that she didn't escalate the confrontation. Instead, she maintained her composure and tried to keep the show moving. In the world of daytime television, where hosts often walk a fine line between curiosity and intrusion, her ability to recover from a live meltdown without losing her cool could be seen as a testament to her professionalism. As for the broader entertainment industry, incidents like this one reveal the precarious nature of celebrity interviews. Producers aim for viral moments, but when those moments veer into conflict, they risk damaging relationships with talent. Celebrities, on the other hand, want exposure for their work but often dread the unpredictability of live settings. The David Kelly confrontation encapsulates this tension in a dramatic way. It's a reminder that while interviews are marketed as casual chats, they are in fact high-stakes performances where both sides must carefully navigate boundaries, egos, and expectations. Some experts in media psychology have pointed out that storm-offs like David's are becoming more common in an era of heightened celebrity awareness. With social media giving stars more direct control over their narratives, they no longer depend solely on traditional outlets to reach fans. This shift reduces their tolerance for situations where they feel uncomfortable or misrepresented. In the past, a celebrity might have endured an awkward interview for the sake of publicity. Today, they can walk out, knowing they can tell their side of the story directly to millions of followers online. Indeed, after a few days of silence, David himself finally broke his silence through a carefully worded Instagram post. Without mentioning Kelly by name, he wrote about the importance of respecting boundaries and valuing personal space, even in professional contexts. He thanked his fans for their support and assured them that he remains committed to his work. The post received thousands of comments, with fans expressing solidarity and urging him not to let the incident overshadow his career. While the message was calm, Its timing and content made it clear that he wanted to reframe the narrative on his own terms. Kelly responded indirectly during another episode of her show, saying she believes conversations can get messy but that respect should always be the foundation. She reiterated her admiration for all her guests and emphasized that her goal is always to celebrate their achievements. While she didn't mention David, the reference was obvious, and the audience applauded her comments. This indirect exchange of statements allowed both parties to de-escalate the situation without reigniting the controversy. It showed a level of professionalism on both sides, even if the initial encounter had been anything but smooth. In the weeks following the incident, entertainment outlets continued to analyze its impact. Some claimed it marked the turning point for daytime television, suggesting that audiences might crave more unfiltered moments rather than carefully managed conversations. Others dismissed it as a one-off drama that would soon be forgotten. Still, the fact that people were talking about it for so long indicates that it struck a nerve. Whether it was because of David's unexpected outburst, Kelly's measured reaction, or the broader issues it raised about celebrity culture, the confrontation clearly resonated with viewers in a significant way. Meanwhile, David resumed promoting his latest project through other platforms, including podcasts, print interviews, and social media. Notably, he avoided daytime talk shows, perhaps indicating lingering discomfort with the format. His team focused on steering conversations back to his acting work, and while the storm-off incident was occasionally mentioned, David declined to elaborate beyond his initial statement. This selective approach suggests a strategic effort to move forward without letting the controversy define him. Whether audiences will ultimately remember him more for his decades of work or for this viral meltdown remains to be seen. Kelly's show, on the other hand, saw a slight boost in ratings in the immediate aftermath. Viewers tuned in out of curiosity, wanting to see how she would address the situation and whether future episodes would contain similar drama. While some critics accused the program of exploiting the incident for publicity, others argued that the ratings bump was simply a byproduct of public interest. Either way, the show continued its usual tone of positivity and entertainment, with no further major controversies emerging in the following episodes. This stability helped restore its image as a safe and welcoming space for celebrity guests. The incident also sparked renewed discussions about the role of authenticity in modern media. Viewers are increasingly skeptical of overly polished interviews, craving moments that feel raw and real. David's storm-off, while uncomfortable, was undeniably authentic. It revealed the human side of celebrity life, the frustration, the boundaries, the unpredictability. For some, that authenticity outweighed the awkwardness, making the moment more compelling than any scripted anecdote could have been. Whether intentional or not, the confrontation highlighted the tension between scripted entertainment and genuine human emotion, a tension that continues to define modern celebrity culture. As time passes, the David-Kelly confrontation will likely become a footnote in both their careers. For David, it will be remembered as a rare moment when his usually composed public image cracked. For Kelly, it will serve as a reminder of the challenges that come with hosting a live talk show where anything can happen. Both will continue their careers, and the incident will gradually fade from the headlines. Yet, for those who witnessed it live or saw it go viral online, it will remain a memorable example of how quickly a seemingly ordinary interview can unravel. Looking back, the incident underscores an important lesson: communication, even in entertainment, requires empathy and respect on both sides. Kelly's intent may not have been to pry, and David's reaction may not have been purely about her questions, but the clash revealed how fragile those interactions can be. In a world where celebrities are constantly asked to open up while guarding their privacy, the balance is delicate. When that balance tips, as it did here, the results can be explosive. It's dynamic that will continue to play out in countless interviews, with each side trying to protect their image while also connecting with the public. Ultimately, the story of David Boreanaz storming off the Kelly Clarkson Show is less about the single heated moment and more about the evolving relationships between celebrities, media, and audiences. It demonstrates how expectations, boundaries, and authenticity collide in unpredictable ways. For fans, it provided drama, debate, and a glimpse into the human side of stardom. For David and Kelly, it was a professional challenge that tested their composure and resilience, and for the industry, it was yet another reminder that in the age of viral clips and instant reactions, every word, every gesture, and every walk-off carries the power to define the narrative long after the cameras stop rolling.